It is a time for some, careful thinking about what wins elections. At the end of the day, it means nothing if we don't have a Congress that will get things done, and we don't have a White House that we can count on to be sane and sober.
Failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton taking a shot at progressives, saying they could cost Democrats the majority come the midterm elections.
Lara Trump, Fox News contributor, joins us now, as she always does on Fridays. We appreciate you getting up with us on this New Year's Eve. So what do you think? Will Democrats listen to Hillary?
Well, there's no place I'd rather be on the last day of the year, guys, and right here with you. Aww. So thanks for having me back, as always. Nice. Are we really using Hillary Clinton as the poster child for winning campaigns? Is she the right person really to be giving advice on this is the question that I initially have. But Todd, to your question, will they listen to her? Probably not. It's as though they have seen the edge of the cliff and they have just walked right off of it. But I think that the alarm bells are sounding for a lot of Democrats. People are realizing it's like the kid who didn't do the project that's due tomorrow morning, and they're panicking, realizing we are heading tomorrow into 2022, a year where they are likely going to basically see a bloodbath in the midterm elections, and it's going to be very hard for them to convince people that their policies have been good for America, because you look at polling literally on everything from the open southern border that we currently have under their leadership to things like defunding the police. Nobody wants any of this stuff. It is bad for America. We have inflation through the roof. People can't afford their basic needs. And it is all due to the policies of these radical Democrats that have taken over the White House and are by and large running America right now. So I guess I do agree with Hillary Clinton on one thing. They are not doing a good job for America, and the policies they're pushing forward are going to be really hard for them to convince voters are positive.
Yeah, Laura, there's also so much going on right now when it comes to COVID. There's a testing shortage, a monoclonal antibody shortage. The U.S. just hit a record high number of daily COVID cases. And President Biden is in Delaware right now on vacation. He's not really facing any criticism for this either. How would the media treatment be if the roles were reversed and your father-in-law was the president?
Well, first of all, we wouldn't, Carly, have found ourselves in this position if Donald Trump was president. We know exactly where he'd be in a crisis situation. He'd be in the White House. He would have been having talks with the major airlines to make sure that we can rectify the situation, that people aren't stranded all across the country like so many people have been right now. He would have had the testing capabilities already in place so that we don't have this shortage. But who was surprised by this? The best that we've gotten out of Joe Biden, the most the media's pressed him on, is that he likes chocolate chip ice cream. Whenever there is a crisis, everyone in this administration seems to flee. Look at the beginning of the supply chain crisis. Pete Buttigieg on paternity leave. When Afghanistan was falling, where was Joe Biden? Having a vacation at Camp David. Kamala Harris, by the way, when Afghanistan was falling, was shooting that NASA video that went so far to help people like her more. It was very easy for people to connect with her after that NASA video. So this is standard for this administration. When there is a crisis, they all seem to flee. Fight or flight. When you had Donald Trump in the White House, he was a fighter. He was there for the American people, pushing forward. Joe Biden in the White House, he is fleeing and getting as far away as possible.
Speaking of your father-in-law and the White House, Senator Lindsey Graham on Trump being Republican nominee for president. Take a listen.
You mentioned Donald Trump, Senator. Is he the nominee in 2024?
From a policy point of view, he was the most successful president. It is his nomination if he wants it, and he will be in the White House in 2024 if he runs a disciplined campaign.
So we've got about 30 seconds remaining on our final show of New Year's of 2021. So our final question of 2021. Care to break any news here, Lara?
Well, I will leave that up to my father-in-law, should there ever be any news to break, of course. But look, guys, just real quick, the American people are very smart. They know that things have gotten worse with Joe Biden and the Democrats in control of our country. They know things felt so much better with Donald Trump there. Not only was he handling day-to-day life, but he was doing really incredible things, signing trade agreements, meetings with Kim Jong-un to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula, making sure that we had peace in the Middle East. All positives.
Lara.
People know it. If he comes back, he will win.
Lara, thank you so much for joining us on this New Year's Eve. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.